In the span of a few years, Aaron Hernandez caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, signed a $40 million contract, was convicted of first-degree murder, received a life sentence, and was found dead in his prison cell at 27 years old.
I'm Aaron Hernandez from Bristol, Connecticut. I play at Bristol Central High School.
By the way, he's from Bristol, Connecticut. Played high school football right down the road, but he was the best tight end in football time last year, the John Mackey.
That arc, from the summit of American sport to a concrete cell, is one of the most shocking in NFL history. But the story doesn't end with a conviction or even a death. It ends with a doctor holding a dead man's brain and saying something that stopped the medical community cold. She had never seen damage this severe in someone so young, not even close. This is the full story of Aaron Hernandez. The rise, the violence, the trial, and the disease that was silently destroying his mind the entire time. Aaron Hernandez was born on November 6, 1989, in Bristol, Connecticut, the second son of Dennis Hernandez, a former high school football star who had played at the University of Connecticut, and Terry Valentine Hernandez. Bristol is a working-class city, proud and unremarkable, the kind of place where the best athletes become local legends, and football is a path out. Dennis Hernandez was one of those legends. He had the talent, the looks, the swagger. He peaked in college and never made it further. His younger son would go much, much further. From the moment Aaron Hernandez could run routes, it was obvious he was different. Not just good, exceptional. By the time he finished high school, Aaron Hernandez held Connecticut state records for the most receiving yards in a career, a single season, and a single game. According to national rankings, he was the best tight end prospect in the entire country in 2007. That distinction earned him a scholarship to the University of Florida, one of the most powerful football programs in America. But there was a shadow behind all of this. In January of 2006, Dennis Hernandez died from complications following surgery. Aaron was a 16-year-old student at Bristol Central High School at the time. He later admitted he turned to drugs after his father's death. The anchor of his life was gone, and the neighborhood filled the void.
Yeah, I figured it was coming. He's been a troublemaker, I guess. He's had his problems. And, basically, I'm disappointed.
He had everything that the Lord could offer right in front of him, and if he had anything to do with this, like I said, shame on him. And if he's innocent, then let that be brought out too.
Bristol had a street culture, gangs, guns, old loyalties that didn't care how many yards you ran on Friday nights. Aaron Hernandez had a foot in both worlds, and he never fully left either one. The University of Florida sharpened everything about his game. At 6'2" and 245 pounds, he was a sturdy blocker, but he also had the soft hands and breakaway speed of a wide receiver. He was an honorable mention All-American in 2008 when Florida won the national championship, then a consensus All-American in 2009. His 111 catches across 3 college seasons set a school record for tight ends. Urban Meyer, his coach at Florida, called him one of the most brilliant players he'd ever worked with. But even in college, the warning signs were there. In April of 2007, Hernandez was probed by police and reportedly did not deny punching a waiter at a restaurant near campus. A drug test came back positive. NFL teams were paying attention, not just to the production, but to the pattern. Despite his obvious talent, multiple NFL teams took him off their boards entirely, citing his failed drug test and concerns about his associations with gang-connected individuals from his neighborhood back home. He fell all the way to the 4th round of the 2010 NFL Draft, where the New England Patriots selected him with the 113th overall pick. New England, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, the most disciplined organization in professional football. If any system could contain whatever Aaron Hernandez was carrying around inside him, this was it. For a while, it looked like it was working. Hernandez was the youngest player in the NFL when the 2010 season began. He immediately proved he could play at the game's highest level, setting a team rookie record for tight ends with 45 catches and helping the Patriots finish 14-2. He and Rob Gronkowski worked together as a powerhouse tight end duo, and together they helped the Patriots reach the Super Bowl in 2012. On that stage, the biggest in American sport, Hernandez caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady. In August of 2012, Hernandez was awarded a 5-year, $40 million contract extension. He was 22 years old. He had the money, the fame, a fiancée named Cheyenne Jenkins, and a daughter on the way. From the outside, everything had worked out. But on the inside, something was breaking.
Sometimes he would come home and he had extreme headaches, dizziness, and he was just tired. There were times when we would meet after the game and he would want me to drive because he felt dizziness or he just didn't feel stable.
2 nights before the murder, Hernandez and Odin Lloyd were together at the Rumor nightclub in Boston. Prosecutors said Hernandez became angry after seeing Lloyd speak with men he associated with a prior double homicide. That incident allegedly fed his suspicion that Lloyd knew things he shouldn't know, things that could put Hernandez in danger. Odin Lloyd was 27 years old. He played semi-pro football for the Boston Bandits on weekends and worked as a landscaper during the week. He was dating the sister of Hernandez's fiancée. He was, by most accounts, someone who genuinely admired Aaron Hernandez, a friend, a future brother-in-law, a man who had done nothing to deserve what was coming.
Odin Lloyd's sisters were escorted to the field for a special pre-game ceremony honoring the semi-pro football player who was killed in June, allegedly by former Patriots tight end Aaron Hernandez.
The night before the killing, Hernandez texted associates from Connecticut and wrote, "You can't trust anyone anymore." Prosecutors treated that message as a window into his mindset. Odin Lloyd was killed in the early morning hours of June 17th, 2013, between 3:23 and 3:27 in the morning. Prosecutors said Hernandez contacted 2 associates, Ernest Wallace and Carlos Ortiz, then picked Lloyd up in Boston around 2:30 in the morning. They drove to an industrial park in North Attleboro, Massachusetts, less than a mile from Hernandez's mansion. The medical examiner determined that Lloyd's cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds, specifically being shot in the back and twice in the chest while lying on the ground. His body was found by a jogger a few hours later. Law enforcement sources said there was video evidence of Hernandez and 2 other men wearing hooded sweatshirts walking into Hernandez's home within minutes of neighbors hearing gunshots. There was also surveillance footage of Hernandez in a car picking up Lloyd the night of the murder. DNA evidence at the scene. Shell casings recovered from a rental car. A footprint matching Hernandez's Air Jordan sneakers found near the body.
Well, George, good morning. This is now Aaron Hernandez's new reality, the medium security facility here behind me, where he woke up in a jail cell this morning all by himself. This after he was arrested yesterday, charged with murder, released by the New England Patriots, and the judge denying him bail.
On June 26, 2013, Aaron Hernandez was arrested at his North Attleboro home. He pleaded not guilty to 6 charges, including murder and unlawful possession of a firearm. The Patriots released him hours after his arrest. One day earlier, he had a $40 million contract, a Super Bowl ring, and a future that most football players only dream about. The trial began in January 2015. During the course of the more than 2-month-long trial, the prosecution submitted hundreds of pieces of evidence, video surveillance, cell phone records, and receipts to show that Hernandez was with Lloyd the night he was murdered. Prosecutors argued the former pro athlete had orchestrated the murder and then facilitated a cover-up. The defense contended Hernandez was targeted by authorities because of his celebrity status and that the investigation was sloppy and unprofessional. It wasn't just one piece of evidence that convicted Aaron Hernandez. It was the accumulation, the surveillance footage, the texts, the DNA, the rental car records, the shell casings, the footprints. Each piece alone might have been arguable. Together, they told a story the jury found impossible to ignore.
He just looked like he didn't care. Like, I got this, I'm a big-time football player.
It was compared to like O.J. Simpson case. You got that same type of aura.
It just became like a circus.
I remember thinking he's just gonna get off.
Aaron Hernandez, 25 years old, looked to his right, pursed his lips, and sat down after the jury forewoman announced him guilty of first-degree murder in the slaying of Odin Lloyd. The conviction carried a mandatory sentence of life without parole. His mother, Terry, and his fiancée, Cheyenne Jenkins, cried and gasped when they heard the verdict. Hernandez, his eyes red, mouthed to them, "Be strong, be strong." There was also a separate trial in 2017, a double murder case stemming from a nightclub shooting in Boston in 2012. Hernandez was acquitted on both counts. But the acquittal didn't matter. He was already serving life without parole. No verdict could reach him. What could reach him, what was already reaching him, was something no court had considered, something growing, slowly and catastrophically, inside his skull. Aaron Hernandez was found hanged in his Massachusetts jail cell in April 2017. He was 27 years old. He had written 3 notes and left them near his body. One for his fiancée, one for his daughter Avielle, and one for a fellow inmate. He had reportedly been reading the Bible. He had reportedly smoked marijuana the night before. The death stunned everyone who followed the case. He had just been acquitted in the double murder trial. He was, by all accounts, in a more hopeful mood than he had been in years. And then, in the early hours of a Wednesday morning, he was gone.
The family of Aaron Hernandez has decided to donate Aaron's brain to this study so that we could possibly help other young men who decide to play football.
His family donated his brain to science. That decision changed everything. Researchers at Boston University's CTE Center received Aaron Hernandez's brain. Dr. Ann McKee, the head of the center, who had studied the disease caused by repetitive brain trauma for more than a decade, called it one of the most significant contributions to their work because of the brain's pristine condition. CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, is a degenerative brain disease. It can only be diagnosed after death. It develops from repeated hits to the head, not just concussions, but the thousands of subconcussive impacts that football players absorb over years of practices, games, and collisions. The disease accumulates a protein called tau, which spreads through the brain and damages the tissue around it. CTE is associated with dementia, mood changes, and aggression. It's a 4-stage disease. Stage 3, which Hernandez was diagnosed with, is linked to symptoms including confusion, memory loss, impulsivity, and rage. Aaron Hernandez, just 27 years old when he died, was riddled with stage 3 CTE to a degree that, as Dr. McKee told a news conference, they had never seen in their 468 brains, except for individuals very much older. She noted that individuals with similar findings in the brain were at least 46 years old at the time of death. Let that sink in. The most severe CTE damage ever seen in a person his age. Damage in a 27-year-old brain that looked like it belonged to a man in his late 40s or 50s who had played football his entire life.
We could see damage to the inner chambers of the brain, the septum, and this would be the first case we've ever seen of that kind of damage in such a young individual.
Dr. McKee said CTE had significantly impacted key parts of Hernandez's brain, including the hippocampus, which is associated with memory, and the frontal lobe, which is involved in impulse control, judgment, and behavior. She told the news conference that individuals with CTE of this severity consistently showed difficulty with impulse control, decision-making, inhibition of impulses or aggression, and often emotional volatility and rage behaviors. The frontal lobes, very important for decision-making, judgment, and cognition, showed damage that was unprecedented in someone so young. McKee pointed to dilated ventricles, which indicate the brain had actually shrunk, as well as an atrophied fornix, the bundle of nerves associated with memory. All of it caused by repetitive brain trauma. But here's where it gets complicated. Dr. McKee was careful to state that she could not make a direct connection between Hernandez's brain pathology and his specific behavior. "We can't connect the dots," she said. She was not saying CTE made him pull the trigger. She was not excusing anything. What she was saying is that the parts of his brain most responsible for making good decisions, controlling impulses, and regulating anger had been severely compromised. For how long? That's the question no one can fully answer. Aaron Hernandez started playing tackle football as a child. The hits began accumulating early. By the time he was a tight end in the NFL, getting tackled by 300-pound linebackers, absorbing collisions on every route and every block, the damage was compounding year after year. Hernandez's lawyer, Jose Baez, announced a federal lawsuit against the Patriots and the National Football League on behalf of Hernandez's young daughter, Aviel. The lawsuit claimed that the league and the Patriots failed to protect their players' safety, leading to the brain disease that deprived Aviel of her father's companionship. The lawsuit alleged that the NFL was fully aware of the dangers of exposing players to repeated traumatic head impacts, yet concealed and misrepresented those risks for years. A BU analysis found evidence of CTE in 110 of 111 brains of former NFL players they examined. Other notable football players who committed suicide and were later diagnosed with CTE include Junior Seau, Jovan Belcher, and Dave Duerson. The pattern is not a coincidence. It's a data point that the NFL spent decades trying to minimize, discredit, and ignore. None of this absolves Aaron Hernandez. Odin Lloyd is dead. His mother, Ursula Ward, spent years fighting legal battles just to get a civil judgment for her son's death. Battles that continued even after Hernandez died because his suicide created a legal tangle that his estate tried to exploit. The man who killed him left behind a daughter who will grow up without a father. That is real. That matters.
Remember him as the smile, the charm, the good heart that we all saw. He was a good-hearted person and not the mean-spirited evil that all these other people comment on or see him as.
But the CTE finding doesn't just add a footnote to this story. It expands it into something much larger. A 27-year-old brain that looked like it belonged to a middle-aged man with decades of football damage. A sport that generated billions of dollars while its players absorbed invisible punishment. A league that knew more than it admitted for longer than it admitted it. Aaron Hernandez is not a simple story. He was a gifted athlete who caught touchdowns in the Super Bowl and signed a $40 million deal before he could legally rent a car without a surcharge. He was also a man who drove a friend to a secluded industrial park in the middle of the night and had him shot multiple times. He was a father who left behind a daughter who will never see him play. He was a 27-year-old with a brain so damaged by the sport he loved that scientists had never seen anything like it. The disease can cause impulsive and aggressive behavior, emotional instability, and suicidal thoughts. The researcher who studied Hernandez's brain said at the time that the case raised serious questions about the root of his violence. He started playing football at around 8 years old, nearly 20 years of blows to the head. By the time he was standing in that industrial park at 3 in the morning, his frontal lobe, the part of the brain that asks, "Should I actually do this?" was severely compromised. "We can't connect the dots," Dr. McKee said, "but we can see where the dots are. What should we do with that information?" The answer depends on who you ask. Odin Lloyd's family would say, it changes nothing. The NFL Players Association would say it changes everything. Scientists would say we need more data. Parents of young football players are already making their own decisions. Pop Warner enrollment has dropped significantly in the years since CTE became public knowledge. What we can say with certainty is this: a young man with extraordinary ability was handed every resource American football could offer, developed a brain disease in his 20s that scientists had never seen in someone his age, and ended up with blood on his hands and a bedsheet around his neck in a prison cell in Massachusetts. The game that made Aaron Hernandez also broke him. And we don't know how many others it's breaking right now, quietly, invisibly, in the brains of players who are still making catches and taking hits and signing contracts and living lives that, from the outside, look like everything they were supposed to be.
I know people blame me for what happened to Aaron, but I don't think I could have stopped it.
I never thought I would be on the football team was one murderer, let alone 3.